Follower motivation. Introduction. Defining motivation, satisfaction, engagement, performance, effectiveness, understanding, influence, and follower motivation. Summary. Introduction. Polls estimate that if companies could get 3.7% more work out of each employee, the equivalent of 18 more minutes of work for each 8-hour shift, the gross domestic product in the United States would swell by $355 billion, twice the total GDP of Greece, the Gallup organization. So it's amazing when you look at this, when you talk about just increasing the efficiency of a little bit of each person, how it ultimately affects the company as a whole, country as a whole. Introduction. The ability to motivate others is a fundamental leadership skill and has strong connections to build cohesive goal-oriented teams and getting results through others. Variation in work output varies significantly across leaders and followers. Creating highly motivated, satisfied workers depends mostly on understanding others. No good team, no good organization gets that way without good leaders. Good leaders understand how to get results, and you get results through people, leading and managing people, because you don't do it all yourself. Defining Defining motivation, satisfaction, engagement, performance, effectiveness. Motivation. Anything that provides direction, intensity, and persistence to behavior must be inferred from behavior as it is not observed. So you can't touch motivation. It's not tangible. It's something that you can inspire and give to others, and they can feel it. And when they feel it and they catch it, it's amazing what you can see what they will try to do. Uh, Performance, behaviors directed towards a firm's mission or goals or products and services resulting from those behaviors, differs from effectiveness, which involves making judgments about the adequacy of behavior with respect to certain criteria. An adequate level of motivation may be necessary but insufficient condition for performance and effectiveness. So, performance, this is where motivation is fine. That is someone, I look at that as someone they have desire and they're willing to do it. Performance is them actually getting it done. Job satisfaction, how much one likes a specific kind of job or work. Satisfied workers engage in organizational citizenship behaviors. Organizational citizenship behaviors not directly related to one's job but helpful to help others. Employee engagement has replaced job satisfaction over the past few years. So when you see this, this is when people work not just to help themselves or help, they also want to help others. That's the citizenship thing. Be a good steward. Employee engagement, extent to which people are absorbed with committed to. Enthusiastic about their assigned work tasks. Form of productivity. The best leaders may be those who can motivate workers to perform at a high level while maintaining an equally high level of employee engagement and job satisfaction. And that's the key to it right there when you bring good leaders in. When you see these different things that you're involved, that you're talking about, now you can understand why so many people are not, or I should say why there a lot of people who are not good leaders, because they can't do these things and put them all together. Relationships among leaders, satisfaction, engagement, performance, and effectiveness. So here you see the diagram. And if you look at the diagram, now you see the connectiveness, how one relates to the other. Pause right here, read through them, and look at the arrows. Follow the arrows to see how all this stuff connects. So you see we have a lot of moving parts. Understanding, influence, and follower motivation. Motivational theories are useful in certain situations, but not as applicable in others. Leaders who know about different motivational theories are more likely to choose the right theory for a particular following situation. Choosing the best theory may result in higher performing and more satisfied, engaged workers. Most performance problems can be attributed to unclear expectations, skill deficits, resource or equipment shortages, or lack of motivation. Leaders have the most difficulty in recognizing and correcting motivation problems. So you know why when you look at this, when you see these other problems, performance is affected by unclear expectations, skill deficits, resource or equipment shortages, and you see this lack of motivation. These are things sometimes that leaders don't pick up. And then they wonder why things are not working. It's because there's things that are actually hindering your people from being able to achieve, and you have not identified them. So, motivational approaches. So you see the theory or approach, and you see major themes or characteristics. So motivations or needs. Satisfy needs, challenge behavior. Achievement orientation possesses certain personality traits. Goal setting, set goals to change behavior. Operant approach, change rewards and punish to change behavior. Empower, give people autonomy and latitude to increase their motivation for work. So each one of these things, a leader may have to do in the course of, say, of a month, may have to do each one of these at a different time. How do needs affect motivation? Internal states of tension or arousal or uncomfortable states of deficiency that people are motivated to change. If needs are not met, people engage in certain behaviors to satisfy them. Leadership practitioners can get followers to engage in and persist with certain behaviors by correctly identifying and fulfilling their needs. So I'll give you an example. What if you have good intentions as a leader and you're trying to fulfill the needs of your people to help them to be better or to be able to reach your goals and get results, but you don't identify the correct way to motivate them? You see, then it doesn't work. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, most well-known theory. I would be honest with you, this is one, to me, when I think of all the ones, this is always one that first comes to my mind. Maslow posited that people were motivated by 5 basic needs. Need to survive physiologically, need for security, need for affiliation, that's belonging, need for self-esteem, need for actualization. Does not make specific predictions about what an individual will do to satisfy a particular need. For most followers, the needs for survival, security, and affiliation are largely satisfied. To boost motivation, performance, and effectiveness, leaders should focus on helping leaders satisfy their self-esteem and self-actualization needs. So when somebody doesn't feel good about who they are and what they're doing, that's going to be a problem for you as a leader. When you got to be able, and see, again, we're talking about intangible stuff you can't touch. This is psychological and emotional type things. So if you have somebody who is a leader who's emotionally distant and doesn't understand that, they definitely can't address that with others. Needs that drive employees who perform non-routine work. Autonomy. Basically, when you have people the opportunity to give people a job and give them an opportunity to go do it without interference. Mastery, helping followers develop those skills so that they can become subject matter experts, SMEs. Meaning, workers wanting to work on things that make a difference. Most people need to work on something that means, why am I doing this? How does it make a difference? Regardless what it is. I mean, is it going to increase sales? Is it going to help make the company make more money? Is it going to help a community? Is it going to help some underprivileged children? Whatever. Meaning, and that is true. Most people do need meaning. Achievement orientation. Atkinson proposed that a person's tendency to exert effort toward task accomplishment depends partly on the strength of his or her motivation to achieve success. He called it achievement orientation. McClelland further developed Atkinson's idea, said that individuals with strong need for achievement strive to accomplish socially acceptable endeavors and activities. Maintain that differences in achievement orientation are primary reason why people differ in levels of effort they exert to accomplish assignments, objectives, and goals. Everybody's not the same. Everybody's going to be different. Subsequently, you won't get the same result from everybody. And here, what they're saying is that a lot of it's going to be due to the motivation. Why is it some people are more motivated than others? And if you understand that, then you know how to get people where they need to be. But it's definitely not a cookie cutter concept because all people aren't the same. The motivation levels are going to be different. Component of the 5-factor model or the Ocean model of personality dimensions of conscientious. Key success factor for people who advance to the highest level of orientations. So again, just going back to something we talked about in the previous chapter, when you look at the Ocean model and some of the other factors, models, what determines why is it that some people go farther than others? Remember I told you some people, just because everybody's different, because somebody's a direct employee, that good doesn't mean they're going to be a good supervisor. Doesn't mean a good supervisor is going to be a good manager. Does not mean a manager is going to be a good senior manager. Does not mean a good senior manager is going to be a good executive. Because at some point you may find that their talent and their intelligence and their motivation may only go so far. That's why everybody doesn't make it to the CEO level, to the C-suite to become executives. Goal setting involves setting clear performance targets and helping followers create systematic plans to achieve them. According to Locke and Latham, goals are the most powerful determinants of task behaviors. Goals direct attention, mobilize effort, and help people develop strategies for achievement and continue exerting effort until goals are achieved, which leads to higher goals. So I always tell people, if there's something you're trying to do, then you must have a goal. For me, I can be honest with you, it must be a goal that I can see. It must be written. It must be visual. Most people are visual learners. And there's an old saying, if they can see it, they can believe it, they can achieve it. That's goal setting. They also identified goals that were both specific and difficult, resulted in consistently higher effort and performance when contrasted with do your best goals. Goal commitment is critical. Followers exerted the greatest effort when goals were accompanied by feedback. So here, telling somebody just do your best. I've never been somebody who tells me just do their best. Have a goal if you can. Sometimes you have to say do your best, but have a goal if you can. And the goal commitment is critical. I mean, give you an example. If somebody's working out and they're saying that they want to do 20 push-ups and they've never worked out before, well, they're not going to be able to do that starting out. They have them set a goal, maybe doing 3 to 5, but have a goal. Don't tell them going to just do the best you can. And also give feedback. Make sure you give feedback to people to let them know how they stand, how they did, and what they do. A leader's implicit and explicit expectations about goal accomplishment can affect the performance of followers and teams. Pygmalion effect occurs when leaders express high expectations for followers. Expectations alone can lead to higher performing followers and teams. So bottom line is, if you tell people you believe in them and you have expectations for them, they can pick up on it and they can believe it too. They do better. If you tell a group of people, I don't think you're that good and I don't think you can do this, I can promise you they will underachieve. Golem effect occurs when leaders have little faith in their followers' ability to accomplish a goal. Expectations result in self-fulfilling prophecy and low performance. And that's what I just referred to. If you tell them, I don't believe in you, or even if you don't tell them that, but your behavior and your actions convey that. Leaders wanting to improve individual or team performance should set high but achievable goals and express confidence that their followers can get the job done. Even if you have a goal, let's say it is to reach a certain quantity of widgets that you make in the course of the month, and it's 50, but you only get 45 done. You know what? I'm going to tell them that's a good start. We'll get 50 next time. Good job, guys. The operant approach utilizes the following methods to change the direction, intensity, and persistence of behavior. Reward, consequences that increases the likelihood that a particular behavior will be repeated. Okay, you did good, so I'm going to give you something good. Punishment, administration of an aversive stimulus or withdrawal of something desirable to decrease the likelihood of repeating it. You did not do well, and as a result, you're not getting a bonus. Contingent, rewards and punishments are administered as consequences of a particular behavior. Well, bottom line is this: if you do certain things, we would give you certain things. If you do certain things, and you don't do certain things, we would do certain things to you. You know, that's contingent. You know, it's contingent based upon you. What I do is contingent upon what you do. Non-contingent rewards and punishments are not associated with particular behaviors. So this is the polar opposite of that. Behaviors that are not rewarded may eventually be eliminated through the process of extinction. So in other words, if you're seeing things that you don't like, and let's say from a couple of people, but everybody else is doing the right thing, you start rewarding the people who are doing good stuff, eventually the people who are not might pick up on it and say, you know what, I'm going to start doing that too because I want to be able to get something. Using the operant principles to improve followers' motivation and performance requires the steps. Clearly specify what behaviors are important. Determine the behaviors that are important, are currently being punished, rewarded, or ignored. Find out what followers find rewarding punishment. Be wary of creating perceptions of inequity when administering individual tailored rewards. One should not be limited to administering organizational sanctioned rewards and punishment. Administer rewards and punishment in a contingent manner whenever possible. So it's a lot of things, moving parts right here. So you want to make sure that you're fair and that you're not giving favoritism, that you're not being too heavy-handed with other folks, and you want to make sure that you're talking to them to find out what they think is fair and what type of rewards they like. Heck, you could even ask them what type of discipline and punishments would be permissible. Not that you got to follow their lead, but you can even do that. Empowerment, defined as having two key components. Leaders who wish to empower employees should delegate leadership and decision making down to the lowest level possible. Leaders should equip followers with resources, skills, and knowledge necessary to make the decisions. So macro psychological components that underlie empowerment: motivating, learning, and stress. So when you empower people, you do give them the power to make you give them some autonomy. Some autonomy to be able to make decisions. Well, if you're going to give them that, you also have to also give them things that will help them be able to do the job and be able to make decisions. Micro components of empowerment: self-determination, meaning competence, influence. So when you look at the micro components of self-determination, this is a group that you'd say that, they're experienced people, they do a good job. So they have self-determination to get things done. There's meaning in their work. They're competent. And their influence within the group amongst each other is something that keeps them all going, that as a leader, I don't have to get involved. Empowered employees have latitude to make decisions and are capable of making these decisions, believe what they do is important, are seen as influential members of the team. In every group and organization, whether they be a criminal group or organization or somebody working in corporate America or in the military or a nonprofit or in the healthcare field, you always have people who are actually, I call them alphas in groups. And these alphas are usually leaders, but they don't have leadership a title, but they play a leadership role within the group. You have to give them a latitude. Here's also, these people are also competent, they're strong leaders, and they have influence with others. So you want to make sure that you support them and help them be successful, and they'll be almost like your right hand. Empowerment continuum. So you see empowered employees, you see unempowered employees. So look at the difference: self-determination, sense of meaning, high competence, high influence. On the other hand, not sure what they do is important, low competence, low influence, polar opposites. And you all, I'm telling you right now, that's going to be primarily determined what type of group that is by leadership and management. Leaders can often see positive changes in followers' motivation levels by restructuring work processes and procedures. Can increase their latitude to make decisions and add more meaning to work. Likely to encounter some resistance when they change the processes and procedures and rewards for work. Leaders can help followers work through initial resistance and new processes and procedures by showing support. So when you see this, first of all, sometimes you have people who do resist change, so they will push back sometimes. But when you are actually talking about giving them latitude to be able to make these, empowering them to do the things and help them make the decisions, I tell people, here's what a leader would do to an experienced group of people that they've empowered, and there's an alpha working within a group. He'll go to the alpha and he'll ask him, "Hey, Sherry, what do you need? Is there anything that you guys need? How's everything going?" And she'll tell him, "Everything's going fine, boss. We're good. We don't need anything. If there's something come up, I'll let you know." "Okay, I'm here for you." Summary: a leader's actions can and do affect followers' motivation levels. Motivation, performance, and effectiveness should not be equated, but should be treated as different concepts. Leaders should empower their teams with the latitude needed to make timely decisions when accomplishing assigned tasks and a couple of desired awards with achievement of team goals. Followers need to be monitored and usually need feedback, coaching, and some kind of motivation to exhibit the right behaviors. Leaders need to be able to differentiate between high and low performance and administer rewards in a fair and transparent manner. That concludes this chapter.